Let's just rejiggle this Kamboopamobby. There it is. Amazing. Oh. In the bottom left-hand corner today, we have ForsakeNXE, who is our red Terran. And in the top right-hand corner, we have SchlumpF, who is our blue Protoss. Let's get all the tabs that we love up. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, right. So, what is going on in this particular game? Well, it is a PvT. It is on Cloud Kingdom. Super Mario's favourite map. That's the third time I've said that joke. You know, in all of this time, Schlumpa and Schlumpy were taken. Yep. So now it's SchlumpF. So that's absolutely fine. Esportative. Uni would manage to make it boring. It would be like the role of the pizza guy within the 20th century porn media. Discuss. So there we go. Oh wow, it turns out that Schlump was probably German because he's und was matchen die Videos? I don't know. Can you speak German?
I know a bit.
What's he saying?
Was machen. I'm not too sure what the verb machen is. But.
Oh, they're both German.
Yeah.
Okay, you learn something new every day. So anyway, right now we have a nice little bit of a probe battle happening here. And is the SCV going to catch up with the probe? I don't know. I don't really think so, but maybe. Who freaking knows? Note, the probe is going to actually get away because the SCV has more important things to do, such as building a supply depot and sealing off the probe's fate forever. This probe is never, ever going to be able to get back out of here alive at all. Oh, right. Awesome. So, he said, what are your videos doing? Some of them come up on Wednesdays. Nice. He is casting.
Yeah, Mittwoch is Wednesday.
Ah, cool. Awesome. So both our players are about the same supply right now, obviously, because nobody gets supply blocked at 10, or so you would hope. And also another supply coming down for Schlump, and a gas as well, which is slightly late, but other than that, Schlump's play is actually pretty dang standard, really. Forsaken going ahead and getting his mule at very standard time as well. The probe finally meets his maker and ends up in that little pile of gold bits and smoke. Meanwhile, Forsaken is actually planning to expand right now, and let's have a look at the scouting. So, at the moment, Schlump has actually done a really good job of scouting. Of course, we saw the probe, and this is the first little bit of scouting that Forsaken will be doing right now. But because Protoss don't have a tendency to block themselves in like so many other races, i.e. Terran and some other Protoss, he will, in fact, just be having a look round right now, and that's fine. Really, this is the kind of thing you would expect for a Protoss that isn't doing anything absolutely crazy. He hasn't got 2 gas. He has actually expanded against the Terran already. That's fine. And he's not teching mentally. He's not actually getting warp gate research just yet, which is slightly odd, but nevertheless, onwards and upwards. There we go. I mean, generally speaking, if you scout around a Protoss base and he's hammering it into hammering his chrono boost into the cybernetics core, it can really mean that you can expect some early aggression. So it's always worth checking the energy and checking what he's chrono boosting a lot, you know, especially due to what times, and you can get a rough idea of what roughly is going to happen. For example, if you go around a Protoss base, he's got no energy at about this time, your cybernetics core's up to here, maybe here, you can kind of think to yourself, well, it's probably going to be around maybe a 4-gate, because he wants that to come up as soon as possible. But there we are, the 4-gate is on the way. Uh-oh. So we do actually have SchlumpF going forward and making sure that he's got enough time in order to do a 4-gate correctly, because of course they should hit around 6 minutes 30 time. These gateways coming down here, I feel they're slightly late, but that's absolutely fine, no problems there at all. I mean, Forsaken Terran can be taken down by 4-gates. Generally it's Terrans that don't block in or something like that, because I mean the ramp really helps defensive procedure in Terran so much, because obviously units get trapped on the ramp, then Marines and Marauders are just completely free to hammer it into any unit that is sitting on that ramp, and that can always be a massive pain in the arse. Meanwhile, we do have the bunker coming down for Mr. Forsaken, and that obviously means that he wants to, you know, play it safe. He really wants to play it safe, and I don't actually think that Forsaken has seen these 4 gates, but nevertheless, it is a 4 gate, and it is going to be coming to try and do some pain management in the direction of Forsaken. And oh no, Forsaken is moving his army away just at the wrong time here. I think another warp in from SchlumpF, and he's probably going to go for it. I think that might have been the fateful warp in. Oh man. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay then, so SchlumpF's coming in right now, and he's going to be doing quite a lot of damage, especially if he force fields this bit here, and it will stop the Terran units from getting back on time. This is probably the one thing the Forsaken was not expecting, as actually 4-gating a Terran isn't that common. But instead, he's going to raise the bunker up here, he's going to get a load of Marines and get a load of SCVs together, and he's going to get ready to go and try and kill off this 4-gate aggression from our Protoss player. So this is actually a pretty smart play, and he could win the game instantly just so long as he manages to defend, really. But of course, this whole attack here coming into the natural of SchlumpF, he won't be expecting this at all. He'll be thinking, oh god, Terran should be inside his base, cowering from my army, not in my base, shooting up my probes. But sadly, for SchlumpF, that is exactly what's happened. Very nice force field though, and that will probably save the day, with these Zealots being able to clear it up as well quite nicely. And oh wow, the Protoss army is also retreating. And in all fairness, that's probably the best idea, seeing as there are 3 bunkers on top of the ramp. Yet, Frosty Gaming, if you want me to cast one of your games, put it in the chat, man. Put it in the chat, because the chat isn't busy enough for it to get lost or anything. So yeah, just stick it in the chat, and I'll do it after these couple of games that I'm doing now, if that's cool with you. And I would like to, you know, cast that. Wow. Okay, hang on. In the chat right now, eSportster says the best German word is Hosenzimmerattosphäre.
Oh, I learned that. I learned about that.
What does it mean?
Isn't it the way? Show it up to me again.
Hang on. Okay. I hope they don't mind pause. I mean, you know, he's really put it on himself.
Yeah, I think that's because it's the longest word in German.
Oh, right, okay.
There's a word in German which is like 124 characters. I thought something ridiculous like that.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I've seen that video. Yeah, I've seen the video of,
I remember like my first lesson of German, my teacher, Mr. Brady, taught us that. And we were like, oh my god, German's so cool. And then we found out it wasn't.
German's alright.
It's a hard
Oh, wow, here we go, and here we go. We have some really brilliant aggression here. The factory's getting in the way of the camera work, but actually it's a damn good thing that bunker finished when it did, because those Marines were getting absolutely hammered by the Zealots there. Really uncomfortable position to be in if you've just graduated your first day of Marine College. Oh my goodness. Not cool at all. No. So SchlumpF right now is kind of on the back foot, you know. Forsaken has actually managed to defend himself several times very well indeed, and now SchlumpF is going to have to be pulling back and thinking about what he's done. That is genuinely what is going to have to be happening right here. So what upgrades do we have coming? We have 1+ armor coming on our way for the Protoss right now. Of course, a commendable choice always against Terran, because Terran units are so good in the early game. They're so very good indeed, that this is just an absolutely brilliant thing to get. Also, our Protoss player here is also getting his, our Terran player is also getting his armor as well. Which kind of says to me that, you know, he's already got his weapons. That is, I was kind of thinking to myself, why wouldn't he have got his weapons first? But he's already got them. So there we go. Okay, so Forsaken is going to be coming out now and doing all sorts of nasty shenanigans, like shooting at Protoss for a bit, but Thermal Lancers on the way, so Forsaken will want to be kind of careful because he doesn't have any Vikings, and Vikings, as we all know, are absolutely fantastic anti-air units. They have an excellent range, they're relatively fast, they don't die so easily, and they can land. Oh man, but not there in time to get the force field off on the ramp right there, but the only thing that's going to lose this battle for Forsaken is that Colossus sat up there on the cliff doing loads and loads of damage indeed. Even the force fields weren't particularly pungent, but it's the Colossus gets sniped. So now this is actually looking a lot better for Forsaken. I think he can almost definitely get the cancel on the third base. Can he do it? I'm almost sure he can, and that will be a blow for SchlumpF, and yes, the third base does indeed get cancelled. SchlumpF has like nothing to come back with this from. He's making more Colossus, but he doesn't have many core units, warping in 3 Zealots and 2 Sentries to try and deal with this. Meanwhile, we have a big drop coming into the main right here. Oh yes, they're going to be coming into the main and doing all sorts of damage. The Colossus has got Thermal Lance now, and of course that's really going to help how effective he is, especially with those force fields there, stopping the Terran units from pushing forward and doing any sort of damage at all. Very nice indeed. Meanwhile, we do have SchlumpF on his way with the Templar archives, which obviously means that we will be seeing High Templar very shortly into this game, and that is one thing that Terran do not want to see, because it's a very scary thing indeed, Templar archives. You do not want to be hit by a Psystorm. You do not want your army to linger in Psystorm. That would be dangerous. By far one of the most dangerous things you can do is let your army linger around in Psystorm, as we all know. So Zealot Legs on the way right now. Of course, Zealot Legs, fantastic against Terran, because it makes the Terran unable to basically step away, like they love to do. And SchlumpF is looking like he's just going to chill out, you know, macro up a bit. But Forsaken, really, he really is on it with the amount of bases he's taking. His supply is much further ahead, and at the moment, this is indeed looking like Forsaken's game, if you don't mind me saying that. So we do have more Zealots coming in right now, and it would deeply surprise me if we weren't going to see more Zealots coming and being warped in right now from SchlumpF, because he needs to take advantage of his Zealot Legs. There's no point getting an upgrade without using the legs, as it were. The 1+ weapons is going to be finishing up as well, but the Terran's 2+ is going to be finishing as well. So, generally speaking, what I'm trying to say is Forsaken probably, almost definitely, has the better upgrades of the two players at the moment. But seeing as it isn't a mirror matchup, other tech really affects the outcome of the game as well, like, I don't know, who has tier 3 units, and so on and so forth. So SchlumpF finally gets his third base up after it being denied. Good times for him indeed, as he really needs to recover some lost ground right now and really get on the macro train, as the supplies tell the story at the moment. Unfortunately for SchlumpF, he is pretty far behind, but that will all change if he manages to get some good Psystorms off. That's always worth notifying you. Like, he does have two very powerful tier 3 units in his army, and one of which I don't actually think Forsaken has any ghosts yet. I don't think he's scouted that there are High Templar on the field. So if that first attack goes well for SchlumpF, then this could be a reversal of fortunes for him, seeing as there are no ghosts on the field. It really depends if SchlumpF can make his sentries and High Templar work together, but he doesn't have any sentries at the moment. But, I mean, you have to have some pretty impressive micro to make those two units work together in the first place. They can be very difficult to do that with. Oh man, so that pylon gets cleared away pretty quickly by Forsaken. Forsaken, yep, that's right. And here we go, the Terran. Is he going to come up the ramp? I mean, the ramp is always the harder place to come up, because obviously you can't split from side to side up a ramp. You have to kind of go up or down. And generally speaking, if you go up, you've lost the battle, especially with High Templar. And these particular High Templar actually have quite a lot of energy left on them. So if Forsaken gets a couple of storms off in his face, it could be a reversal of fortunes. I know that SchlumpF is 50-ish, 57-ish supply behind right now, but supply is not everything. I always try to never ever try and predict what a game's going to do by supply, because more often than not, you'll be fairly wrong, unless it's, you know, obviously an extremely large difference. But it's not today. Not an extremely large difference today. So Mr. Forsaken right now is just going to be running around. He's almost capped. He's got a lot of Vikings to compensate for the Colossus count. And I think he actually saw the High Templar and he's going home. He's making some ghosts. He wants to play this safe. That's absolutely fine. There's no problem with that whatsoever. Better safe than sorry. And as I kept saying back there, like, the High Templar in there, like, if these guys did get a successful storm off, there would be big problems for this Terran army. But we do have Forsaken going ahead and taking a 4th base. We have another command center on the way as well. What that command center's fate is going to be was a completely different question. It might go into a different area, it might feed a mineral line, hell, it might just sit there and be a planetary fortress for the rest of its life. But one thing we can be sure of is these two mighty warriors of StarCraft are going to clash soon, and it should be epic. Lovely and epic. Schlump here has really shot himself in the foot though, because he's put a pylon right where the Nexus should go, and if he wanted to expand here, well, he'd have to destroy the pylon first. Not good at all. No, no, no. But anyway, Mr. SchlumpF is looking like he's just going to be walking around a little bit, and scan going down on his army. So Forsaken knows exactly what's going on. He knows how many Colossus to expect, he knows how many High Templar to expect, and best of all, he knows how much energy these High Templar have. And the answer to that is a lot of energy. Now Schlump may be thinking to himself, oh, I'm a little bit behind, has actually gone and put himself down a Dark Shrine. A commendable choice actually. If Protoss get on enough bases, they can simply pump Dark Templar for ages and ages and ages with a fairly low likelihood of losing the game pretty quickly. And I mean, it really forces the Terran to use their energy off the orbital commands onto scans rather than mules. But I mean, economy isn't a issue for Forsaken at the moment. He's got 74 harvesters, he's on 4 base, he's expanding to his 5th as I speak. He's out macroing our opponent, or his opponent even, Schlump, pretty big style. There's a lone Zealot down here just hacking away at missile turrets. You'd think the Protoss, being the uber advanced race they are, would have like bombs or something, but no. Just going to be hacking away at a missile turret. That's absolutely fine. So more Zealots being warped in right now with their charge. Ooh, lovely. And hello, these guys, are they going to cloak? Are they going to cloak? No, they're not. They're actually just going to go in and EMP quite a lot of stuff straight away. There's still enough energy in there for 2 Syston, so Forsaken needs to be a little bit careful instead of going in all gung-ho. But, oh no, that's not the best positioning for Forsaken at all there, really. I mean, half of his units were actually attacking that Nexus, which is never preferable at all. But still, he could maybe attack into this. Another EMP just went down on the High Templar as well. Forsaken knows it, and he's going to be able to push right in there now. He's got a really nice position where the Zealots can't hurt him too much, because they'll only be out attacking the outside Marines. The High Templar want a piece of that, but they don't carry any weapons, and it definitely looks like Forsaken has pretty much just destroyed his opponent in one massive go. Oh man, they want to get away from that High Templar with enough energy for 2 Systorms. They really do. Oh, but the High Templar dies anyway, so no problems there. Meanwhile, the 4th base is actually going to get completely destroyed by for Schlump there, unfortunately for him. Dang, raining blood. The medvac goes down with tons and tons of Marines and Marauders inside. 3rd Nexus goes down, and this is looking terrible for Schlump right now. There's basically nothing he can do. He's making another Colossus, but his opponent still has a pretty good amount of Vikings on the map. And here comes a Doom Drop for Forsaken to end the day with. But nevertheless, here are the Dark Templar. Maybe a little bit too little, too late. I mean, but I think Forsaken will notice things going missing from his army pretty soon and do a scan. And it will be a good night, Dark Templars. It would not surprise me at all, but it looks like the main base Nexus is not going to go down. Nicely saved there by Schlump. So this High Templar here is intent on running away. Oh, 1 Systorm goes down on the Marine, and then he gets fried by a Colossus. Dear oh dear. Then we have a Nexus coming down as well. Schlump desperately trying to get some back in this game, trying to get back as much as he can, but I just don't know at this point in time. It's really looking very sketchy indeed. I mean, Forsaken as well is actually kind of swimming in minerals. He's got 2,500 gas, 1,000 gas, 2,500 minerals. He's got tons and tons of barracks, and they're all pumping out Marines and Marauders, and this surely is going to be absolutely impossible for Schlump to deal with. I mean, only if these High Templar do not get EMP'd or anything like that will he actually be able to deal with this attack. Let's see, have a look at the income tab, and yeah, the income tab says it all right now. Schlump is harvesting nothing. He doesn't have a mining base at all. He is actually long distance mining, very commendable. But I can't see a bright future right here in this game for Schlump. He's looking pretty dang run down indeed. We'll have to get eSportative in the chat to tell me what he said there, because I actually have no clue. And oh my goodness, these Archons are actually just probably going to get eaten away quite badly. Not the greatest Psystorm positioning, however, it did catch quite a lot of the Vikings. Oh no! All the Vikings go down because they made the massive mistake of stacking up right on top of that Archon. But all the same, Forsaken still can just feel so happy with himself that he's actually probably going to crush his opponent right now. I mean, he could probably run through Psystorm and still win this game. He probably couldn't, but you know, it's pretty definitive who has probably taken the biscuit here. Oh, run away, and that's so many ghosts. That's an absolute legion of ghosts just coming in and EMPing everything. They didn't quite get the last one there, and there we go. That is what a Protoss army looks like with no energy. And I'll tell you what it looks like in about 10 seconds. It looks dead. It looks really, really dead. And there's the GG from SchlumpF, and he leaves the game. Lovely. So that was the end of this. Oh, cool. Yes. Well, I have cast some League games. Invader StarCraft. I've cast some. I've just basically, well, I've cast like 300 videos over the last year because this 24-hour stream is to commemorate my first ever cast going onto YouTube. But yeah, no, I've done various things really, but I've applied to cast I-46. I've applied to cast I-46 basically, which is the UK's biggest gaming tournament. Whether or not they'll actually take me on is a different matter, but I really hope they will because, you know, casting is something that I really like doing. So, okay, and then it's the second game. Yeah. Oh, did we ever get a game dropped in by that nice guy? What's his name? Sure. Frosty Gaming. Frosty Gaming, that's the one. Did we ever have a game put in by him? Is it on Reddit? Largest in the UK isn't too difficult. No. Well, that's where that was my first taster of esports, like as a big thing, really, because I went and met Bling and a few other people. I met all the people from DE Sports and stuff, and you know, they're really, really cool. Bling especially is a really nice guy, and he's a pretty fantastic Protoss player. But then again, Zictamini did beat him in the UK finals. Oh dear. Okay, and let's get on into the next game with ForsakeNXE again, once more. Oh yes. Thank you very much, Invader StarCraft. That's very nice of you. Yeah, please make sure that you favourite and stuff like that if you like it too. Thanks a bunch. Okay, I've just got to do this next game from Forsaken because he's got to go off soon. So, you know, to be manner, we're going to go ahead and do this next game real quick. I'm just going to shift the screen onto my ugly mug for a second. Because I need to go ahead and get the game without you guys seeing the amount of time that the game has, because if you do, then you'll pretty much know what's going to happen, and that is no fun for anybody. Nobody at all. Alright, so let's get into this next game right now. We have our very familiar looking blue Terran in the bottom right hand corner today, who is ForsakeNXE, and he is in the chat if you want to talk to him. He's a lovely fellow, he's a great StarCraft player. And in the bottom left hand corner we have OneSpeed, excellent, who is our red Terran. Cool, let's get these lovely name banners up and let's get the production tab up as well. So this is going to be a TVT. I love TVT so much simply because it's like a big elaborate game of chess. What I mean by that is you have to unsiege, resiege, unsiege, resiege, and all the time you're trying to get with each other by medvac dropping and all of this good stuff. That's very, very standard kind of Terran play. That's what you can expect in like 70% of Terran games. Sometimes they'll mix it up and go Banshees first, which is always fun. Always fun indeed. And sometimes they'll win the game, like instantly doing that. So there we go. But yeah, nevertheless, we are going to be getting into this game. And I think that's the emblem for playing 1,000 Terran games on ladder. I think that's the emblem for that. I'm not entirely sure, but hey-ho. Now I expect both these players to be going ahead and expanding pretty rapidly because Forsaken is a Masters player and this guy here, Masters player, and this is where people really start to get a good grip of the metagame and just start to go, well, this is what's pretty much going to probably happen, so this is what I'm going to plan for, you know? But Forsaken does actually look like he's going to get the lucky scout off and go and scout his opponent first. So that is freaking cool. And yes, Forsaken in the chat has actually just concluded with me that that is actually 1,000 Terran team games. Cool, so Forsaken's SCV must be a little bit wrong in the head or something, because he tried to come in here to scout round there, and unless he can jump over this cavern, then he doesn't really stand a chance for it. Unfortunately for OneSpeed, he might actually think this is the tournament version of the map or something, because he's going to go ahead and just scout the cross position straight away, which of course is just not the best idea at all. Because it's pretty much the longest scouting path you can do. But nevertheless, he has actually kind of gone, oh, well, if he's not here, he must be down south for some reason. I don't quite know. Maybe it's one of those. It might be one of those. Anyway, we do have Forsaken going ahead and getting his factory right now. And actually, if we see gas going down on 19, it's entirely plausible that we could see a 1-1-1. I mean, he has just closed his supply depot here. Yeah, man. I mean, he's got the Marines down here on the natural, but he's building his factory very early indeed. No second gas just yet, which makes me think that maybe it's not Banshees, but he's definitely teching to something pretty early. It'll be pretty exciting to see what. OneSpeed, on the other hand, is just plowing through a very standard style and going in and getting his other command center in his natural right there, while Forsaken gets a starport. I think these Marines, all nicely spread out here, are pretty much in order to stop any scouting probes or anything like that from coming up the ramp and pretty much seeing that there is a starport on the way. That's almost definitely what's happening here. And, oh, there are Hellions coming, so it could be a Hellion drop. That's more than likely, because, I mean, if it's going to be Banshees, we'd probably be seeing a tech lab being made on the factory right now, and it's just being switched over. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it's a Hellion drop. Great choice indeed, especially against a Terran who doesn't actually know what you're doing at all because they haven't scouted you. Actually, he looks although he's kind of got here and then just... Oh, wait, maybe the Marines killed him. That's more than possible. So, I mean, OneSpeed's probably come up this ramp and gone to himself, well, Forsaken's expanding because he's got Marines at his natural, and of course that would be entirely the wrong thing to think indeed. Anyway, we do have Medvac coming out, and they are going to be loaded in here and going ahead and doing as much damage as they can. Meanwhile, Marines are going to push in the front as well, and this has... I mean, this is going to at least disrupt the mining time right here for OneSpeed. It's definitely going to make him go, oh crap, I can't actually mine while there are Hellions shooting at me, so I'm probably going to have to move away. I mean, meanwhile, we do actually have a starport on the way, and that looks like it could be producing Banshee soon as well, because there is a tech lab coming down next to it, and here we go! The Hellions have just arrived in the base right here, setting a tree on fire. That is environmental damage. Tut, 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 tut. No way. Marines are being heftily getting in there and trying to stop this from happening. But as it stands, I mean, if Forsaken can get good shots off of these Hellions, he might actually stand a chance in this battle. Nope, not quite being able to, but still, mining time easily disrupted. If we check out the income tab for this brief juncture here, it's got 400 minerals annually rather than Forsaken's 1,000. Keep in mind that is with 2 base as well. Also, OneSpeed has just lost a hell of a lot of his Marines, and they're all rather out of position as well. But Banshees on the way right now. Banshees are on the way. And Banshees with Cloak, actually, and that's another good thing about Forsaken's play there. He very kind of luckily just found out that his opponent was going and getting a tech lab with a starport, and that really only means one thing, unless you're Killer Koala or Killer Bunnies and you love Ravens. That really can only mean just about one thing. Banshees, baby. Banshees. So ForsakeNXE has well, he's definitely seen it, and he is building up missile turrets right about now to go ahead and counter his opponent's Banshee play. Amazing. Meanwhile, we do have a Ninja expansion up here in the top left-hand corner from OneSpeed. A wise decision, as always, just so long as you can kind of stay alive during your time. But it's safe to say that Forsaken's harassment at the beginning there wasn't the most successful harassment in the world. I mean, OneSpeed has this Banshee out now, and if he does enough damage with it, then maybe he can, well, he can feel completely entitled to go ahead and do his expansion, you know, completely unopposed. But sadly, the Banshee does die very quickly indeed, and now Forsaken is looking pretty good from our observer's point of view. Indeed. Meanwhile, we do have 3 factories coming down for OneSpeed, so it looks, actually, he is going for a mech style. Mech versus bio. This is something that we've seen already once tonight, and it's really quite interesting indeed, because you're so used to seeing Terrans go bio and bio rather than mech and bio. So it is interesting, you know. It is very, very interesting. And of course we have an armory coming down as well. And actually, for any little bit of a nugget of information about Heart of the Swarm, if any of you didn't know this, in Heart of the Swarm, the armor and the armor upgrades are the same for Terran ships and Terran ground vehicles. It's like, that sounds weird to me. That sounds really weird. I don't know. Anyway, we do have a drop coming in right now. Lots of Hellions trying to respond, but unfortunately for OneSpeed, tanks are very, very slow indeed. And again, he's going to be losing a little bit of mining time to this marine pressure. And actually, Forsaken does manage to get away with his medvac intact and with his oh man, that marine, he was going all against the world, and then the world killed him. Poor little fella. Poor little fella indeed. But the beauty of what OneSpeed is doing right now is the fact that Forsaken has no idea that this is up here. I think, actually, yeah, Forsaken will know eventually. He is scouting around the map for it, because Forsaken himself... What? OneSpeed's going for another ninja expansion up in the top left. Ooh. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I think that's just a little bit too greedy. It's just a little bit too greedy, because, I mean, Forsaken's harassment at the beginning, it wasn't great. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. But then OneSpeed's was even worse. And I just feel like this expansion building is completely not the right call at all. I don't know. That is simply the way I feel. But hey-ho. We'll just have to see. I probably might be wrong, but Forsaken hasn't actually expanded at all yet. He is thinking about it as he is destroying the third base rocks here. Let's bring up the production tab and see what we have on Zeve. Well, OneSpeed is making a hell of a lot of forts. He's making a lot of vehicles. He's making all sorts of delightful stuff, and this is the great thing about what he's doing. Because he's going mech, he's going to be able to play quite defensive with his siege tanks and all of this stuff, and that allows him to kind of weather any storm. But the army has to be there to weather the storm in the first place, and what Forsaken's doing up here kind of means that, well, the tanks are going to have to respond damn quickly, let's put it like that. And here we go, we actually have OneSpeed coming out and going to just go doing some mad aggression here, but Forsaken's going to be able to get in here and kill off a lot of SCVs, and the SCVs are going to try to get away, but absolutely in a futile effort, really, because these Marines do crazy DPS. They can just mow everything down, and I don't know if Forsaken knows that this is up here, but it really could be, and it is. And if Forsaken doesn't check, he might indeed kick himself later for it, but personally you wouldn't expect a Terran to take 2 ninja expansions by the 10-minute mark. Needless to say, OneSpeed is going to be pushing up the ramp right here. Oh, to devastating effect of the Marines of Forsaken, and this could be pretty horrible indeed to deal with. The last bastion of hope for Forsaken right now is the bunker that's being furiously repaired by all of the SCVs, and if this bunker falls, then there could be trouble indeed. But it doesn't actually look like it's going to fall at all, because the Marines inside are absolute war heroes, and the SCVs who are outside are more so war heroes, and Forsaken has roughly defended his entire base with a bunker, and that is why the bunker on top of the ramp is such a good thing indeed. You know, that's not to say that Forsaken didn't lose any units there. He did lose quite a few units. Oh, wow. Oh, no. Forsaken just lost tons and tons of SCVs. That is unfortunate indeed. The Vikings have a part to play in sniping the medvacs that are spotting the high ground for OneSpeed right there. And these Marines are actually going to find the ninja expansion in the top left-hand corner. Quite rightfully so. I don't actually know if they're going to be able to kill any of these expansions before they make it off the edge of the cliff. No, not quite. and that will probably bug Forsaken a little bit. He might actually have to send some Vikings up there to take care of that. But that's 800 minerals just floating in the sky right there for OneSpeed, and it's 800 minerals that could be a Thor, or could be siege tanks, or all sorts of things, really. Forsaken, on the other hand, he needs to saturate this expansion. All of those SCVs that died, they died in order to saturate the expansion. That was their problem. I'm not actually sure the OneSpeed knows that's there, but they will now, because the siege tanks just start firing away. But yeah, as I say, that bunker really, really withheld the weather. And Marines getting dropped on top of the siege tank, they're kind of worth it. 2 siege tanks for a load of Marines. I mean, this is something that Terran can do, is drop Marines on top of siege tanks, because of course the splash damage from siege tanks can just dismember friendly siege tanks. I don't know, I just feel like if OneSpeed was to like leapfrog push up this ramp, he'd be able to kill off a lot of stuff right now, but he's supporting a lot of supporting units. He's missing a lot of supporting units even. Oh man, that Thor wants blood, and he wants blood in the shape of the Viking. And slowly but surely, these poor Marines that are being dropped to their death over the siege tanks are actually doing it. They're actually going to be able to make a solid difference here, and oh my god, all these Marines are just in the range of all the siege tanks, and oh my goodness, all of the Marines are going to go down right now, and that is a really, really bad loss for Forsaken. But nonetheless, he is actually starting to leapfrog his units up right here. Absolute pandemonium in the top left-hand corner as these Marines don't quite know what to do. They're going to stim around and stop the SCVs from mining, surely. But at the moment, I think both of these players' attentions are on what's happening in Forsaken's Natural. Because if these siege tanks deploy, there's going to be a lot of dead SCVs. Like, a lot of dead SCVs. Or maybe not. Maybe. Oh, yes. Still, there is still going to be a lot of dead SCVs here. If only OneSpeed actually targets them down. I mean, Forsaken is still dropping down the Marines on top of the tanks, and that, of course, will really, really damage the tanks through splash damage, as already explained. But this guy here is going to be a real pain in the arse for the tanks, because they cannot touch him at all. A Thor has arrived, but he is being completely outgunned by the Marines and Marauders as well. And that is the end of the little push by OneSpeed, I believe. Does Forsaken know that this is there? No. Like, this OneSpeed guy is just ninja expanding all over the freaking place, up in the top right now as well. You know, maybe he would have been a lot safer just to take his third when he actually had the chance and was pressuring Forsaken that much. I don't know. Chimes and Pie is in the chat saying, has anyone stopped to consider how many lives we are throwing away when we drop Marines onto tanks? Good point. Damn good point. Absolutely. So 2+ weapons and 2+ armor on the way right now for Forsaken. And he is actually looking really, really good, simply because he's managed to deny his opponents new expansion so much indeed. Oh dear, so much. And really, I mean, this is a planetary fortress, but it might go down. It's not indestructible just because it's got big guns on top of it. No, no, no. I mean, it will throw away the Marines as quickly as it possibly can, though. So, I mean, Forsaken will have to bring something up here that will do a little bit more solid DPS and won't die as easily as Marines in order to stop this from happening. But nevertheless, I mean, Forsaken's got his third base, and he's had it for a while now, even though he's been under attack for a very, very long time. OneSpeed has been taking a lot of ninja expansions, and they've been getting denied a lot. So you could completely understand how Forsaken could pretty much roll OneSpeed right now. I mean, OneSpeed is... he's not looking good. He needs to siege these tanks as well before the Marines get into range, and he does just about. I think it might have been a little bit too late, and now the tanks are going to fall. Goodbye, Mr. Tanks. That's all she wrote for them. And now the Marines and Marauders are actually just going to be able to go straight in there and do so much damage. I'm sure these tanks here are going to siege up too. But again, they're just within range of the Marines' guns. And that's going to be 3 orbital commands taken down for OneSpeed right now. And on top of that, Forsaken has just found the planetary fortress up the top as well. And this is starting to look really, really bad. You can tell that when an orbital commander's on fire, things are looking a bit bad. For any player, really. Unless somebody just starts burning something in the kitchen of said orbital command, and that's how it burns down. But as far as I'm aware, orbital commands probably don't have kitchens. Oh, the SCVs and mules are going to make a run for it, or are they going to get loaded into the... No, they're just going to repair. They're just going to repair. Actually, things can't get loaded into orbital commands. What am I on? What am I on? Dare do. So right now that planetary fortress up the top there has proved to be a bit of a hard nut. And isn't dead. But quite a lot of the SCVs surrounding it are, and let's have a quick look at the workers killed tab. Forsaken has killed 75 of his opponent's workers, and that is just mental. Ow, ow, ow. You do not want to lose 75 workers at all. If we look at the income tab right now, we can see that OneSpeed has 30. And is sending quite a lot of SCVs out to his sneaky top expansion. But also Forsaken is sending all of his forces out to the sneaky. Oh no! SCVs! Oh dear, the SCVs are all going to go down! Oh no, that's quite a lot of SCVs. Adding them onto the pile. Adding them onto the pile indeed. So now OneSpeed with 19 harvesters possibly still thinks he has this. I don't know, this is looking a bit sketchy. He doesn't actually have enough SCVs there to repair the planetary fortress. And there we go, OneSpeed has left the game. Oh yes. So there we go. Forsaken has indeed won another game, and 89 workers killed before the end. That is absolutely crazy.